Welcome to the markets of memory, welcome. You've made your way to the quiet hours of the evening. The light has dimmed, the world is softening around you, and it's time now to drift gently, slowly into the past, to the heart of a shimmering island city. Imagine a place humming with life, surrounded by calm lake waters, where stone causeways stretch like ribbons across the surface. A city of floating gardens, towering temples, and endless noise. Tuna. Let your thoughts carry you far across oceans and centuries. This is lives of sweat and ritual, daily struggle, and fleeting joys. Once the thriving center of the Aztec world, its streets alive with barter, ceremony, and power. But beneath the grandeur were lives. Tonight, we'll explore those lives in 4 quiet chapters. We'll begin with the bustling marketplace, where trade and toil shaped daily life. Then, we'll step into the shadowed chambers of a doomed. After that, we'll slip into the sacred ball courts, where play met ritual, and victory could mean death. To the lake, to the city, to the rhythm of lives long past. And finally, we'll enter the shimmering halls of the elite for a glimpse of a dinner like no other, in the palace of an emperor. So now, allow yourself to settle. Breathe in slowly. And as your body softens into rest, your mind can wander. Let's begin. Why it sucked to be an Aztec market vendor. Imagine yourself beneath a high, white sun. It's not yet noon, but already the air in the market of Tlatelolco is thick and restless. Dust curls up from beneath thousands of sandaled feet. Voices echo in all directions, a mix of Nahuatl shouts, laughter, and the rhythmic clack of barter. You are a vendor, Kagure. Your stall is Medista reed, mat laid carefully on the stone ground. Bright yellow ears, carefully chosen, cleaned, and arranged in symmetrical bundles. You've arrived before dawn, hauling your wares on your back in a woven basket, through the narrow canals and crowded bridges of the city. Today, you're selling maize, but not just any maize or bist. Because you know, someone is watching. You've whispered your morning prayer to Zalonin, the young goddess of maize, hoping she'll bless your goods. Still, you worry. But moving isn't an option. Your place in the market is set. And shade is for those who can afford better stalls, closer to the central causeway. They ensure that you don't cheat your customers, that your beans are fresh, that your weights are fair, that your corn is worthy. Because selling rotten food or haggling unfairly isn't just bad for business, it's an offense to the gods. In Aztec markets, inspectors officials of the Pachteca guilds, or temple staff monitor, everything cut. Some believe misfortune, sickness, storms, crop failure begin here, in markets. With human error, gods must be honored, even in trade. You've paid your fee, a small tribute to set up shop. You try not to flinch when a priest passes by. The low, rhythmic drumming from far off across the square. Behind you, the sun beats down, sharp as obsidian. There's no canopy to shield you. Your back is already slick with sweat. To your left, a flower seller arranges marigolds with delicate care. Just enough to avoid attention. To your right, a man offers salt in tiny ceramic bowls. A wrong word to the wrong noble. A misweighed measure. Best, you'll be fined or driven out. At worst, imprisoned, or, worse still, humiliated before your peers, which might be punishment enough. Handful of cacao beans dropped into your pouch in exchange for a bundle of maize. One not of corn or coins, but of power, gods, and downfall. The smell of smoked fish drifts in from farther down, blending with the sweet, heavy scent of roasting cacao. It should be pleasant, but you're on edge. Because trade in Tlatelolco isn't gentle. It's loud, competitive, and the penalties for deceitful or perceived can be steep. And if your goods are seen as spoiled, well, in a world where gods expect perfection, offering flawed food could invite more than just bad luck. So, you watch your corn, you watch your customers. Every sound feels sharper. The rattling shells of dancers passing through on their way to the great temple. The jingle of copper bells from noblemen's feet. You haven't eaten since dawn, but there's no time now. Not with so many buyers around, see. And so you sit in sun and sweat, keeping your goods in order. Your price is fair. Your eyes lowered, just enough to show humility, heart. Because here in the heart of to be a market vendor is to walk a thin line between survival and sacrifice, commerce and consequence. Even the rhythm of your life, care, is not your own. Still, as the sun climbs higher, you find a rhythm. A barter here, a smile there. It's not glorious, it's not grand, but it is the heartbeat of a city. And as the day drifts onward, you wonder what else stirs beneath this city of stone. Let us turn now, gently, to another story. The Fall of Moctezuma, one man. Two worlds caught between, and the gods. Let your mind drift now from the dusty marketplace to the sacred hill where the palace of the Huey Tlatoani Moctezuma gazes over, like a guardian made of flesh and ritual. Imagine the hush inside those vast chambers. The scent is not of corn and fish now, but of burning copal, incense, a silence so deep it carries the weight of centuries. Tis every decision he made, every breath he took, was woven into a greater rhythm, the sacred calendar, the balance of the stars, the blood of the earth. His skin glistens faintly with sacred oils. He wears not a crown, but a diadem of turquoise and gold, and feathers, the color of deep. His eyes are dark, tired, and heavy with questions. The rhythm is off. The signs are wrong. Here, in this stone sanctuary, Dim light seeps in through woven red blinds. A weeping woman heard on the wind, calling out for her lost children. He consulted the priests, codices, prayed, fasted, waited. Others say he was cautious, political, calculating. Truth, as it often does, lies somewhere in the stillness between. Offered his hand, showed them his temples, his wealth, his people. Moctezuma sits beneath a golden canopy. He was once a warrior, beloved and feared, priest king, chosen by God's protector of tradition and cosmic order. They took, they questioned, they smiled through their helmets. But now, whispers of omens have stalked the empire for years. Comet splitting the sky, a temple struck by lightning. And then the strangers came. His words now pass through the mouth of his captors. His voice was used to calm the masses, even as rebellion brewed in the corners of the empire. The stillness of the palace, as courtiers whispered and priests wept, first as shadows on the sea, then as armored men with beards, like serpents and thunder in their hands. Corsus beasts, never seen before, snorted at the shores. Their leader was called Tent, and he did not kneel. Curt. At first, Moctezuma sent gifts: gold, food, feathers, an attempt at peace, or perhaps appeasement. He watched from afar as the Spaniards moved closer. Some say he believed to be Quetzalcoatl, returned the feathered serpent god, destined to reclaim his throne. City, once orderly and obedient, surged with fury. Blood was spilled in the streets. Spanish soldiers attacked worshippers during a festival. The people turned. When the strangers reached, Moctezuma welcomed them. He believed diplomacy could keep the gods satisfied, and perhaps the invaders too. But the balance had shifted. The Spaniards did not see his empire as sacred. They did not bow to his sun gods. His name, whispered through centuries, is both warning and prayer. To a place where stone walls echo with the rhythm of feet and ritual. And then they seized him. The man between two worlds. Others say the Spaniards ended his life to prevent rebellion. The records are blurred, fragmented, layered with silence and sorrow. The ruler of 100,000 warriors became a hostage in his own home. Imagine the silence of that moment. The way the air must have thickened. Moctezuma still bathed, still fed, still dressed in regal splendor, was no longer free. And Moctezuma, torn between duty and death, remained still. It would not last. Tensions rose. Moctezuma stepped out to speak, to beg for calm. But the crowd no longer saw a king. They saw a puppet. A broken reed. Stones flew. Some say he died by his people's hand, struck down by their own rage. What is certain is this: the ruler who had been divine became dust, Kroom, and with him the empire began to crumble. Yet, listen closely, Queasy. Let us move gently now from the palace, where sport, ceremony, and sacrifice meet, in the sacred ball court. The sacred ball game of the Aztecs, more than a sport, ritual, politics, and sometimes death. Now, let the image of Moctezuma fade, like mist rising from a still lake. We drift down from the palace heights, through narrow stone corridors, to a very different kind of arena. Can you hear it? A low thump. Thump, thump, steady as a heartbeat, echoing off stone walls. You've arrived at the Tenochtitlan, the Aztec ball court. No cheering crowds, no coin flipping for teams. This court is shaped like a large capital I, carved into the earth's walls, high and sloped. Its ground, hard, flat, and unforgiving. Players strike it with their hips, shoulders, and elbows, badies, turned into tools of endurance and precision. Gray. It's not a field of green or a wooden arena, Tev, and it is sacred. Imagine yourself standing at its edge. The early morning air is cool, scented with burning copal. Nearby, priests murmur prayers. Spectacus nobles, warriors, and commoners gather in quiet anticipation. But in the Aztec worldview, death in ritual service especially, on the altar was not punishment, it was offering. It was ascension. Stakes are spiritual, It was believed to mirror the celestial struggle between day and night, sun and moon, life and death. A point might be scored by passing it through a vertical stone ring fixed high on the court wall, a nearly impossible feat, yet one that could end the game instantly. This is no ordinary match. The opposing team dives, desperate to intercept. The ball is heavy, made of dense rubber. It is not to be kicked or thrown with the hands. There are no referees, no scoreboards. On a platform above, nobles sit beneath feathered canopies, watching with silent reverence. In certain matches, the game was more than symbolic. It was a selection, a ritual, a final act. To play the sacred ball game, called Olamalisli, was to step into the realm of gods and fate. The rhythm of the drums, the whispers of the crowd. Sometimes it settled disputes between rival city-states. Sometimes it honored the gods. Sometimes it was the prelude to sacrifice. Whether it was the winners or the losers who faced sacrifice is still debated by historians. The players knew this, and still they trained, played, sweated beneath the high sun. Hips hardened into muscle from years of impact. Ritual scars marked devotion. Their diet was rich in maize. The matches could last hours. The ball could only touch the ground briefly or not at all. Can you see the movement? Two teams, crouched, low, eyes locked. One player lunges, twisting midair, to strike the ball with his hip. It rebounds off the sloped wall. The ball moves like fate itself, fast, unpredictable, unrelenting. Drums beat from the sidelines. The smell of crushed marigold petals rises. And somewhere, just beyond sight, a priest prepares the altar. But tonight, no blood is spilled. This is a memory, a faded echo. Let it drift now. From the court into stillness. Let the sounds grow quiet. The thump of the ball. And now, we follow the scent of cacao, the shimmer of obsidian plates. It is time for dinner in the palace. Dinner in the palace of chocolatey gold cups, kunkka, and 300 dishes a night elite. Aztec extravagance. Now the drum beats of the ball court fade, replaced by something quieter, more refined. The soft slip of sandals on polished stone, the rustle of rich fabric, the distant splash of a fountain carved in serpent shapes. The sun filters through latticed wooden screens, painting golden lines on the walls. The air is still, heavy with incense and the scent of simmering spices. Through the silent corridors of the imperial Palastec Pantaward, walls hung with embroidered cloths, their patterns dancing in faint candlelight. Soft mats of woven rushes are laid out, carefully spaced. Moctezuma rat, the height of his reign, sits alone on a low, carved seat. He before him, a low table covered in fine white cloth. Around him, a circle of silent attendants, standing at respectful distance. No one speaks unless spoken to. It is late afternoon. A vast chamber opens. Smooth floors, polished until they gleam. This is no ordinary dining room. This is the imperial hall. His hands are dried on a clean cloth, used once and discarded. Cleanliness is sacred. Bodily and spiritual purity are inseparable in this world. And tonight, as on every night, the emperor will dine in quiet grandeur. No two dishes are exactly the same. Each reflects a different region of the empire, a different tribute city, a different recipe passed down through generations. A drink reserved not for pleasure alone, but for ceremony, for royalty, for warriors and priests. Picture the scene. Servant kneels and offers scented water in a ceramic bowl. Mindfully, then, the food begins to arrive, carved. Others are carved from obsidian or jade. None are reused. Each, once touched, is broken afterward. Other nights, he indulges more deeply. But always with silence, always with reverence. God, a way to show power. Yes, but also a way to show honor to the gods who provided all. Each motion is observed, recorded in memory by scribes. The way he eats, what he favors, how long he lingers, these are seen as omens, reflections of cosmic order. See, not a single dish, nor a humble few, but hundreds, each in its own bowl or platter, carried by trained stewards with practiced grace. Kate. There is turkey, roasted with chili and squashed seeds. There is tamale, stuffed with beans, flowers, or sometimes tiny frogs from the lakes. Surrounded by soft candlelight, fragrant steam, and the lingering echo of ancient voices. There are delicate stews flavored with hoja santa epazote and the earthy heat. There is roasted maize, thick with smoky flavor, and there is chocolate la dark, bitter, spiced with chili, whipped to a frothy foam, and poured into golden cups. Imagine the warmth of it in your hand, the deep scent of cacao, sacred and energizing. Caca. Every dish is tasted by servants before reaching the emperor, both to ensure flavor and to guard against poison. And he eats slowly. A culture built on ceremony, sacrifice, and splendor. Sometimes he selects just 1 or 2 bites from a dozen dishes. The plates are made of fine clay, sometimes polished black, sometimes painted with red and white patterns. Wasteful, perhaps, by modern standards, but in this world, excess is a form of ritual. Servants move like shadows, quiet, precise. One sweeps the floor with a broom made of bundled reeds. Another replaces candles whose wax has dipped to low. Outside, the city is alive with noise markets, fires, prayers, laughter. In the corners of the room, warriors from the jaguar and eagle orders stand silently, a reminder of the force that sustains the empire. And somewhere nearby, a group of singers practices a hymn for the next festival. Their voices are soft, distant, rising like smoke. Eventually, the emperor finishes. He rises, and as quietly as it began, the meal ends. The leftovers are shared with his nobles, or passed down to favored servants. The broken dishes are swept away, and the hall falls silent once more. A single man, 1,000 hands. Let your thoughts rest here in this quiet place. And now we step away, out of the palace, away from the empire. We return to ourselves.